What is good, homies? This is Chris from the Small Hat Crew, joined today by Small Hat. Oh, Nick's not here. Wait a minute.
Damn. the token white man isn't here, and Chris lost all function.
Bro, it's because I always lead with Nick. He just threw me off my. Okay, anyway, Small Hat Manny.
Yo.
And Small Hat Brandon.
Hello.
Long time no see, Brandon.
Yes.
Yes.
I apologize for my work schedule, and I have been practicing for nationals nonstop.
That's not an excuse. I've been grinding Blurple Crocodile for nationals, and here I am.
Because and now we're in Croc on the same playing field.
Yeah, right.
No, actually, I think it'd be an insult to Crocodile to say that they are, as he is so much higher. But with that being said, we have two new leaders as well as is it a super?
Yeah, super rare.
Okay, all right, boys. So let's go ahead and jump right into this one. We have Monkey D Dragon, red, 5 life, 5,000 power. Our first what?
Our first look at OP07 as well.
Oh, that is true, as well as our first look at Small Hat Local number 4 this Saturday. Sign-up links are in the description. That's a good segue, wasn't it? I was gonna say a segue.
Yeah. Great job. Good
okay.
sandwich.
But we have 5 life, 5,000 power, Revolutionary Army. We've gotten our third Rev Army leader. They're just churning these guys out. Activate
and it's
main.
our first monocolored Rev Army leader.
That is true too. The first one to have 5 life. Good for him. Activate main. Once per turn, give up the 2 of your currently attached Dawn to one of your characters. Now Nick's not here, so he can't voice his opinions, but he thinks that this leader's very underwhelming in mid.
I just think the card reads as 2 7k swings.
That's how I read the card as well. I read this card as 2 7k swings, or I read it as like I'm pushing for game. I'm swinging for 9, and then on my next attack, I'm swinging for 11 to account for the new card that you've picked up, you know, in case it's a 2k. Like, when you push for game, he just lets you climb up the tiers of 2k.
He also lets you do a 15k swing, for example, and then a 7k swing.
So, what I like about the card, I think that it's good. Especially for a mono red leader. So 2 Dawn might not seem like a lot, but that's 2 more cards that your opponent has to have in hand, because they have to have a 2k and a 1k to get out of it. So when you're pushing for game, you're now forcing your opponent to have 2 more cards with counter, and one of them being a 2k than normal, which games are already super close, right? So for a mono red leader, I like that, but also you have cards like the red Ivankov, which needs 7k power to just summon something from your hand. You can straight up make it 7k, summon something from your hand, and then even if it's like the red Inazuma, boom, go ahead and swap those 2 Dawn onto that, and it has Rush. I don't think it's underwhelming at all, especially because now your big swing turns. The problem with like mono red Luffy is to get use out of the ability, you have to play something. You don't have to play anything to get use out of the dragon ability.
Well, I was gonna say, so I don't think that'd be an advantage. I don't know if it would be a disadvantage, because like Luffy's able to drop bodies on curve and still have the extra Dawn, whereas this guy, he's kind of, if you're using his leader ability, it means that you're not playing on curve, so you're not getting like, I guess, the most like optimal usage out of your Dawn. But like he does say, like if I have 5 Dawn, for example, if I have a Zoro in hand, for example, that's 2 7k swings just on like third turn, pretty much. Like I kind of view him as, oh well, funnily enough, I was gonna say like kind of like Bello Betty, where her whole thing is, you know, she turns 2 mediocre bodies on the board into 2 big attacks that are pulling cards out the opponent's hand. And he kind of does the same too. And he doesn't like specify characters or leader or anything. Like you could put 2 on your leader, swing 5, play Zoro, move the 2 from leader to Zoro, swing 7 again. He gives you like a wide, tall swings. But unlike Bello Betty, he doesn't pull a card out of your hand, so you're not going neg to do it. He just does it.
Right.
And I like that a lot about him. And as someone that loved, like, that mained... Oh, go for it.
I was just going to say that, like, I think that he is, like, Red Luffy 2.0. And with that, like, I think, like kind of what you were saying, like, it's really good because, like, you get to play your bodies and still do decent swings. And I think this also helps with, like, the red characters, because there's more red characters than not that are like, if you give me a Dawn when I attack, I get to do something. So it lets you have more Dawn to play with.
Yeah, I like him a lot. Like, and because abilities like this just speak to me. Like, that's why I played Mono Red Luffy all from OP01 to OP03. Like, I refused to give up on him, and I was punished severely for doing so. But, and now I'm living that fate again with Purple Crocodile. But, I think I figured it out. I'm taking Purple Croc to Nats. I'm like 80% sure. We'll have to see how these...
Do it.
But yeah,
I will say before we move on from this leader as well, you have Zoro as like you play weenies, you kind of like win early or you don't win, and then the Mono Red Luffy was more of a kind of mid-range, and it didn't really work out too well lately. But this one is more of a mid-range to even late game leader, because this one says my 10 Dawn turns are going to hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna play a 3-drop Zoro, and it's 7k swing for no Dawn commitment because I use that on something else.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, I think that this is going to be like the mono red leader that we'll start seeing play.
I like this guy a lot. I feel like he's like because like how Luffy was very good for his time. Yeah, this feels like Luffy adjusted for power creep, just like account for where One Piece currently is.
I like also think it's funny. I also think it's funny how Luffy has attached one Dawn, you know, to a character essentially, right? But his dad has attached 2 Dawn.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I remember, so people were doing buyouts on Revolutionary Army stuff, because I don't know how the fuck it happened, but like somehow word got out that we were getting a dragon leader like a week ago. And Garen kept talking, he was like, people are so stupid. Buying out, the market's being manipulated on literally nothing. We're not gonna get a dragon leader. I'll be so angry if we get a dragon leader. And now here we are. When I saw it this morning, I texted him, he's like, yeah, I saw it. I'm pissed.
Also, being that he's also #1 out of the set, but we had a whole Revolutionary Army set, and then we got, I believe, a little bit of support this set 5, and then so this is, or set 5 was the first one. Set 6, I think we get a few more cards, and then set 7 will probably get even more Revolutionary Army cards. So like he has the support, and also mono red, you don't even need to run Revolutionary Army. He just has a good ability for mono red.
He does. He really does. I like him a lot. I like this guy. I also like that he doesn't say like it's just move 2 attached Dawn. It doesn't have to be like from a specific character. So like you could have like one Dawn on 2 different characters, one on a leader and one on a character, whatever. You can just pull it from both of those and just put it onto a different one. Like he's gonna let you go. So if you just have like, I don't know why you'd ever be running like 4k bodies, but you could attach, make both of them swing 5, and then move the 2 to another guy to swing 7. Like it's so good. But we're talking circles at this point about him
right now.
God, I didn't think we'd get Dragon as a leader, because I thought it'd be dumb with us having no idea what the man does. It's like, how do you give him like a flavorful ability?
Like one more than Luffy.
I was like, that would be Purple Shanks all over again. We know nothing about the man, so his leader's ass. But this is not. I think they knocked it out the park on this one. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have Foxy, purple, 5 life, 5,000 power, Foxy Pirates, when attacking, Dawn -3. If you have 3 or more Foxy Pirates characters in play, choose up to 1 of each of your opponent's rested leaders and characters. The cards you chose do not become active during their owner's next refresh phase. So Nick was also thought this one was underwhelming. Actually, he thought it was bad.
I think this card's good.
This card, yeah, Brandon.
I think since we need 3 Foxy Pirates, it is going to heavily depend on the package that we get. It is a mono leader. This could be like every set has that 1 to 2 leaders that come out that it's like, fun
leaders.
Local leader. Yeah, fun local leader. I feel like this might be that one. But I mean, you give it a couple 1 and 2 drops that have good on play abilities, and all of a sudden it's not a bad leader.
Yeah, it's go for it.
One of them's going to be a searcher. So it's a 1-drop searcher or a 2-drop searcher, which is understandable. I'm assuming there's going to be some form of a blocker. And then as long as as long as there's a cheap blocker, a searcher, and a generically good body, there's your 3 bodies, realistically.
Well, because we still have to, realistically, so even if you're doing the Zoro and you're just dropping small bodies on the board, the weenies, that is, at minimum a 3 Dawn commitment for the turn. What I will say is, like Brandon said, I think we were talking in Discord, actually, and, yeah, I think it's going to be, heavily reliant upon his package, because I believe my wording was that if the bodies are good, if he gets good characters, then this is a good leader, whereas if the bodies are bad, then this is not a strong enough leader ability to carry a mediocre package. So it's going to be heavily reliant on. But also, one thing I was thinking about with this guy is, so say your opponent swings with like, I don't know, say it's Purple Luffy or whatever, and he swings, he has like 8-drop Kid on the board, and then he swings, he pumps Luffy to 6, and then he like plays a 9-drop Kaido, and then he rushes you. If you have like Kid blocker on the board, on the following turn, you could like play Kid blocker, -3 Dawn, you'd ramp 1 back, you get tapped like the Luffy, so he's never getting restood again, off of, and like getting his pump from his Kid blocker, and then the Kaido gets frozen as well, and because you're minusing 3, but Kid's refunding you, every turn you're only minusing 2, so you could just keep that Luffy and that Kaido locked down for the rest of the game.
Forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think if you can start getting the leader ability to go off, it becomes easier to keep your 3 bodies, because now you're locking down something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what I do like about this one is that the bodies, like, you don't have to, some people related it to Kuro, or however you say his name. Kuro, you needed to rest your characters, so now they're targets. With Foxy, you don't, so people are like, oh, it loses to removal. Yeah, but if it's a weenie deck, you're forcing your opponent to use their removal on your small bodies, which you can replace. I think what this leader is going to, what's going to depict if this leader is good or not, is the ramp package that it gets. Because Purple still doesn't have generically good and reliable ramp. So it's going to need either a good stage or some of the, it's going to need a good low-cost Foxy Pirate card that gives it ramp, which honestly might happen, and that would be very good for the deck.
I was going to say, like, surely he gets an Onigashima. Like, if he gets an Onigashima, he doesn't even need the Kid blocker. At that point, he's literally just doing it.
It would have to be a searchable stage, though. Just
I would imagine.
I have a better idea for a stage. Hear me out. This is some I'm calling it, and if it happens, I'm the smartest player ever. Hear me out. So the stage is oh my god, what's the name of the arc? Like the Foxy games? No, what's it called?
Oh, it's like Long Ring Longland, I think.
Yeah. So the stage of that, right? And all the stage says is, you know how the whole arc is about that, like they play these games and then the loser pirates have to join his pirates? Yeah. What if the stage just says all characters while this stage is on board count as Foxy Pirates?
Okay. That wouldn't be bad. He would still need a ramp card.
I see.
Though.
Yeah.
Well, if there's a ramp card, there's a ramp card. I think that'll be a cool flavor for text, and then it lets you be really, it makes the deck building much more interesting if that's the concept than just having a ramp card and then having like these weird Foxy Pirates. I think that would be more fun.
I'm gonna say, I think my OC Foxy that I've talked about a couple times now, I think my OC Foxy leader's better. I would have preferred, you -1 Dawn to -1 Dawn from your opponent. Activate main. Yeah. That would have been gas. It would have been broken with Kid blocker, but my god.
I just want to say, I knew Foxy would be a purple leader, and I was not excited to see it, especially before a buggy leader. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know why.
No one's ready for buggy, bro. We can't handle buggy right now.
You're right.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about Foxy just screams purple, because I know when I predicted buggy, when I predicted Foxy, I also... He was minusing 1 Dawn to minus your opponent's Dawn, so he was also purple. Something about him screams purple, you know?
Yeah, we'll get a buggy leader when the anime knows more about the cross guild, because he's gonna be cross guild.
He could be our first triple leader.
Boom.
Yeah, you could have our first triple leader. It'd be the buggy, the croc, and me frog.
No.
Do you imagine how much life you would have as a 3-color leader?
3.
3 life. Overall,
there's already dual Luffy who's 3 life.
Yeah, but he's 6k. But I would say for this leader, I think it's too soon to rate it, because this is going to be one of those that heavily depends on the Foxy Pirate package.
Or the stage that says all characters are Foxy Pirates.
Or that.
Yeah.
In that case, you just play a bunch of 2-cost blockers. That's it.
No, bro. Like, you just play the Straw Hat engine, and then and then just go wild because you get the Soro Joro and all that.
No. 2-drop.
I don't even think. I think if that's the case, you do play. I think you just play Straw Hats like Zoro plays them, or I think you just play like the Zoro 1-drop package. That way, there's always. Because if they're all gonna count as fucking Foxy Pirates, then just put a bunch of weenies on the board and call it a day. Your opponent can never challenge them because you're just locking their shit down.
So next card, possibly the best card printed so far.
We have Lilith, yellow character, cost 3, power 5,000, scientist, and egghead. This is our second. This is our second scientist card. I noticed because when I was trying to figure out some text for Blurful Crocodile, I was thinking about Caesar Clown and Smiley because you get big hand off 10-drop. Oh. It's obviously garbage, but I was like, oh, he's scientist. I didn't know that was a type, and here it is again. But on play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck and reveal up to 1 card with the type Egghead other than Lilith and put it into your hand. Then put the rest of the cards on the bottom of your deck in any order. Trigger. If your leader is Vegapunk, play this card.
It's a 3-drop searcher that searches on play, and the trigger just says play it.
And it's vanilla stats.
Bro, this is everything Perospero wishes he was.
Yes.
This card's insane.
I did see somebody say that, and it does make sense to me. I don't know. I am not caught up in the manga with Vegapunk. I don't know if he's like a pacifist or not. But that there's a good chance that the Vegapunk leader won't be able to attack. Because that's usually when they get characters that are better than normal, such as Kyros, right? Kyros, on paper, phenomenal card. Leader couldn't attack, so it was meh.
Right. Tilestone.
Yeah, this card is a 5 out of 5, even if the leader can't attack. Only for that leader, of course. Like, it's literally leader locked, not only type locked. It's like, hey, one leader can play this, and that's it. I love it. Because they know that this card will get out of hand. But, like, on paper, this is such a good card. Like, everything you want in a card.
When I woke up this morning and I read this card, and then I was like reading the I was reading general chat in the small hat server, of course, and I saw people were saying this card's so much better than Perospero. I was like, the fuck do you mean? 'Cause I woke up, so like I'd been awake for like all 30 seconds, and I read the card, and I was like, I'd much rather have Perospero. And then I looked back at her and I realized she was a 3/5. Like when I read her, I thought she was a 1/2. She's an on play. Look at top 5. Why the fuck is she a 3/5?
Yeah, and I did just look it up. It does say that Vegapunk says that he's a pacifist, so yeah, he probably won't be able to attack if we're getting cards like this.
I don't think he's going to attack either.
I don't think so either.
I definitely stand by that. That the big
I believe
leader
it.
is literally going to be, this leader can attack.
Yep.
Mono yellow character.
I don't know. I think he'll be dual color.
No, I think he's gonna be mono.
I think
for
dual.
The fact
I mean
that
mono.
He can't swing. Actually, no, I lied.
Well, the
he'll be
other
dual
two.
color because he can't swing. That's the only way they balance leaders that can't swing. They have to be dual colored with 2 colors.
I also think dual color because this says 1 card with the type Egghead other than Lilith. It doesn't specify a color, so that's important to note as well. If he is dual color, then she can look up both colors.
Well, that's not
Well,
necessarily
no, because the
they-
other searchers don't specify color either outside of Impel
Some do.
Down.
Some do.
Yeah,
No,
like
yeah.
Impel Down's the only one that cares, really.
yeah, it's only Impel Down. It's
I'm calling it dual color, 5 life, can't attack. I'm calling it.
I'm gonna say I'm feeling a mono yellow leader. I feel like we don't have. I feel like we're getting a lot of dual yellows. It's about time. You know, I mean, we just got a nail, but I don't think yellow needs access to any more color pools. I'm getting tired
You know
of it.
what also
honestly.
makes this better than Perospero? You don't
What?
have to discard a card to play it.
Yeah, you don't discard a card. There's no condition like
Besides
Kiku
having
Nojo and all that. Yeah, like because if you're playing this card, then but it's like because Kiku Nojo and all that, you know, it's like, well, you have to have 3 or less life, or no, your opponent has to have 3 or less life, and there's at least a condition there. She is always hitting the board no matter what. There's nothing stopping her. It's actually absurd, and it's not even like it's one of those where you would ever like pick her up and put her in hand. Like I feel like if you hit her trigger, she's hitting board every time because she doesn't have counters, so it's like why would you ever take her to hand? Like,
And what's important to note as well is yellow, by this point, because in set 6, yellow does get the 0-drop event for 3k, so yellow's just overall going to be a little bit less bricky. That card does save games. And if you're watching this video, now's a good time to head to TCG Player and pick up your 8-drop Katakuris, because this card goes hard with Katakuri.
I will also note that this character, despite what her trigger says, she's not leader locked.
Technically not leader locked, you are correct.
Yeah, like
But
if that
then why would
package
you
does
miss out
turn
on
out,
such a good trigger though.
well, I
You
mean,
said what?
if the package is good enough, shit, like if I'm on Katakuri or whatever, and this is a good new yellow package, why wouldn't I play her? It's like a 3/5 searcher that searches top 5. She would just be another one of those no counter cards that you pick up out of life, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Or if maybe it's worth running off in now, but if she doesn't have counter, you just discard her for gaining a life anyway. So we'll have to see what that package looks like.
Don't even get me started on just giving me more good yellow cards for it now.
Yeah, I'm so fucking tired of yellow.
This card's so good though.
It is.
I read this card, and I had to reread it a few times to make sure I wasn't missing something.
Bro, it's so crazy to think too. This is a 3/5, so obviously vanilla stats with no counter, and it again shows us the caliber of how strong a 3/5 with no counter has to be. And then you look back at fucking Miss Monday, and it's like, I don't understand. Yeah, no, this, we're not even really doing ratings this video, so obviously amazing card though. I don't know how you could make this card better without breaking it,
Bigger titties.
I said without breaking it, Manny.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts before we wrap this one up, boys?
No, so far from what I've seen, I am pretty excited for set 7, and we've seen 3 cards.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm also excited. I'm most excited to see what the Foxy Pirates will be. If it ends up being mediocre, then it is what it is. It'll be a fun, jokey deck you play with your friends.
I'm also excited for set 7 because set 7 is supposed to reveal more Baroque Works cards.
And Foxy Pirates better be mediocre, because if it's not, having my leader and a character tapped every single turn, not tapped, but like kind of frozen, just doesn't sound fun. It sounds terrible.
Hear me out. What if, can you know how usually there's a character card for the leaders?
Uh-huh.
What if there's a character, Foxy, that just has a similar effect where he's like a 7-drop, but it's like minus 2,
Nope.
2,
Just minus 1 freeze.
Block another character.
No, I think it is also worth it. So also, because if they are good, you are essentially playing a game where you're under 10-drop Dofi for the entire game. But also, I don't know how relevant it is. Probably not really relevant at all, but I do think it's worth mentioning. In the Discord, Vic did point out that because it specifies character and leader, you can't go into buddy battles and lock down both of the opponent's leaders and call it a day.
Correct. It's 1 character, 1 leader, and you don't have to have 2 targets, so you can do a character and no leader, or leader and no character.
Yeah, they didn't say up to 2 characters and or leaders, which is really good, because imagine playing buddy battles and then you just lock down your opponent's leaders. They just never restand for the rest of the game. God forbid they're on Corazon. If they are playing Rosinante as their leader, it's fucking over. Yeah.
Yep. I love it.
Well, no, because you could restand him during the end of your turn.
Oh yeah, the less than 6 cards in hand, right?
Yeah.
That's
He
right.
forces himself up.
That
It
is
just
true.
stops you from refreshing. It doesn't lock them down.
That's right. It's worded just like fucking 10-drop. Yeah. Okay. Well,
All right.
I guess that's it then. If nobody has more to say.
No, but
but everyone, don't forget about it's the 4th one, right?
Yes, the fourth small hat local. Yes. And when we get back from Nats, after I take Nats, or Blurb will crock the Nats, once we come back from Nats, we will host our first, I'm pretty sure, not 100% certain yet, but then we will host our first bottom tier small hat local, I'm pretty sure, where you can only use characters that are legal for small hat bottom tier play.
Probably have a picture of that somewhere on the Discord, I'm assuming, right?
Yes. Yup. So, yeah, sign up. Link is in description. And until next time, then, we'll see you guys.
See you guys.
Deuces.
Juices.
Oh, juices.
The juices.
Juices
Alright, guys.
flowing out of me after seeing that that Lilith.